Keen to see that.
Let's take a look at our map ban. Are we going to see yet another Oregon today? That's the big question. We already saw it too many times. But... Woo! Clubhouse, let's go. Variety.
Ban Ace.
Variety.
Well, it's not really much variety for Na'Vi. They've already played this week.
You know what? Variety for me is fine enough. You know what they say? Treat yourself.
Priorities.
Treat yourself. I'm treating myself to a bit of Clubhouse, and looking at this this map ban phase, does it all make sense to you from your perspective, Dev?
Yeah, well, I think from Chaos's perspective, they've seen how Na'Vi play Clubhouse, so there's kind of an incentive there for why they would want to take us there. Despite it being one of their most banned maps in the past, they haven't had great results overall. The stats I got, it's negative 2 and 4. Na'Vi, positive, just barely, but a couple draws on there. Yeah, if I'm Chaos, I want to come out swinging, ban out the Ace. Not that it's like just a be-all and end-all, but Na'Vi didn't even use the Maverick anyway when it was open yesterday, or 2 days ago, I should say. And Doki's pretty cracked when he's got the AK-12 in his hands. So just like
you didn't need to add the end of the
right?
sentence.
Say again?
Everything past when he's got the AK-12, you didn't need to add that. Doki's pretty cracked, or at least he was on Monday, so...
Well, he can be hit and miss sometimes, though. So that's why I think just like kick him off his comfort pick, right? And see what it does to him. No offense, Doki. But yeah, like Chaos, just get him off his comfort pick. I mean, what I want to see is Na'Vi ban Ash, put Crine off his comfort pick, Chaos ban Ace. There you go. That's what I'm going to see.
Def, solving everything. Gio, final thoughts before we head into this game.
It's going to be very telling because Chaos will have had the VOD from Monday to go back on, and I think if they can build on that and they can utilize that really well, we could be seeing some really good things from them. But if they can't, I'm going to continue to be a bit worried about the squad.
All right, you know what? Let's toss it over to our casters. Well, for this one, it's Des and Hap. Our final match of the evening, Na'Vi versus Chaos. Thank God it's not Oregon. We've seen Cafe. Will we see Clubhouse? An exciting map as we were expecting. All onto our casters. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Milos. It's Na'Vi's new obsession, the new look. Clubhouse for the second time in a single week, just like Secret heading to Cafe twice. They played this back on Monday against Tempera, as we saw happen. It gave us some mixed thoughts, I think, on what we saw coming out of them. On the defense, they looked pretty good. Tempera really only getting 2 rounds on the attack after a couple of crazy overtime plants and clutches coming out of players like P4. In the second half, a little bit limp on their attacks. Today, I think there's a chance that Chaos can take this one as long as they get it right, as long as they keep that in mind, the things that went wrong for them previously, they can fix those, and this could be a Chaos win.
Could be a Chaos win indeed. Let's see whether or not it will be. I voted on Na'Vi myself. Just about ready to... I was going to say, did you hear that as well? But it was Doki being in the voice chat. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard something. I genuinely just wrote in our Discord. I just typed in our Discord, WTF was that? And I didn't realize it was Kendrew apparently burping and screaming.
I was checking all my tabs, so I'm like, what the hell am I watching somewhere? Just quickly, but... It was them. It's been resolved, but yeah, I voted Na'Vi myself. Actually, I think Na'Vi is going to be able to take it. Right. I'm just disappointed we cannot make fun of Jess now because she got the last prediction wrong as well. I'm not going to be going over it right now. Do you remember what she picked?
I don't know, but we can go and find out because you have access to the sheet.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I like
find
how
out.
Doki's mentioned this in all chat here as well. The Ace ban coming away. He played it wonderfully the other day. It was his most played operator, going 15 and 8 across both halves. Of course, Jaeger being his pick on the other side with an 83% cost. So a pretty good player, all things considered. Now, looking back at what he played previously when they were on this map last season against Rogue, he was playing Thermites and still playing that hard breach role, but got clapped on spawn peaks in 3 of those attacking rounds. He got to have nil impact, absolutely nothing. So I like how Chaos have identified that and abandoned away. Coming out of Na'Vi, we're seeing the Capitao and the Wamai, and the Valkyrie being the last one to close things out. This is one of these games that I think is genuinely too hard to call. I know I called a Chaos win, but this could go either way from round 1. Do we see Joe stepping up after the other day, saw him at every single window going, not quite managing to always find kills? Or in this game, is he actually going to connect those headshots and give Na'Vi a massive advantage, of course, when it comes to them being on the defense?
I mean, even if you're on the windows all the time, right, you do not need to find the kills. It's about putting down that pressure. Just open up those windows, be present, fire 1 or 2 shots maybe, let them know you're there. They're going to be careful about that whole southern side. If you do so, not going to be able to repel up just as freely as they might do. They're going to have to force, basically, to put attention towards you. And because of that, Joe might be, you know, not finding any kills in the early round, but he's definitely keeping the attention of 1, 2, maybe even 3 players on the opposing team. So if he's going to be able to keep that up when he goes onto the defense, of course, will be 6 rounds from now. It might be, even though not getting many kills, still impactful.
The only real thing being brought along here in terms of the, the anti-electronic walls we're seeing set up here as well. I think that's both electrified, potentially. Might just be the one still. In fact, have they gone for that second mirror window on the jacuzzi wall? I think they have, haven't they, right?
Yes, they have.
Okay, so this is something that I saw come out in the Nordics a couple of times. Normally the idea being that you open up the right-hand side of that wall. You have an option to fall back to, but you also get that double layer of vision. So it's almost like the whole wall has been opened up. You can see through entirely what's going on outside. So as soon as someone tries to peek in towards the rotation to step in and try and blow up that mirror window, well, guess what? You're going to find yourself being greeted by someone normally inside of the bathroom. But Vito's almost using it as a second line of defense here and playing not behind that one towards jacuzzi first. Will eventually back away to playing inside a bathroom after. And this is interesting because for the longest time, teams have started moving away from holding these 2 walls and instead letting teams take control of the West if they want it. Here, Chaos is saying, nah, screw that. We're doubling down and keeping control of it.
Yo, Blur, Sledgehammer, just opening up some of these castle barricades, of course. Better to use a Sledgehammer than to go for your explosives, as Joe then decides to start things off. We'll be able to get the kill down onto the next one through the X-Kairos into the CCTV wall. Fortunately for Na'Vi, an instant response indeed with the shotgun from Secretly.
Yeah, Joe doing the right thing here means that the team can play on this south balcony because as soon as you have control of CCTV, you have control of west window. It means no defenders can come running down there and just pasting those of you that are stood outside the windows. But Secretly reminds them that they are still able to go near the windows themselves with the shotgun blast through onto Kendra, as you say. That is the Maverick removed away. A little bit painful to remove that one so early, given the fact he has both frag grenades and, of course, that hard breach gadget, which could get them through these walls that they need to.
Really afraid of this mirror window here as Blur will be able to get a kill down there onto Secretly. That's that shotgun gone. The diffuser is within meters away from them to be recovered, but they have to be careful for the long angles that are being watched by Renewals. Of course, the UMP on the castle has a 1.5 scope now, makes it a bit more viable maybe in some of these situations. Nate being tossed in. Na'Vi is trying to set up, they're trying to deal with this utility, and they will successfully do so for the biggest part.
Go for 2 kills. That's basically a third of what he got in the game the other day. A good start for him. And there we go. A 3K for Joe in this round. As Sage picks up another one. Round number 1, pretty decisively going the way of Na'Vi, and outside of a couple of upsets from Chaos in terms of shotguns and windows and the odd pick being picked up here and there. Well, Kendrew, I think we all agree. 3 kills in the first round. That's definitely a way to make a statement.
No Thatcher for me. And Douglas says
he was
GG
bound by the Thatcher the other day, to be fair. Yeah, he was Sam
Yes.
Thatcher every single attacking round.
They changed it up a bit, and he starts fragging out as he will be going back on that Zofia again. I just wanted to say, was it like, okay, so often what we see, right, is teams decide to choose their tertiary bomb site first. Maybe you can throw them off guard a little bit if you manage to win the round, then you have that one out of the way. It definitely looks like that was the case. They were trying to do that, considering the fact we are now going downstairs, because they weren't able to win it, so you got to change something up, right?
Yeah, you're trying to bait them with the setup, absolutely.
Yeah.
But truthfully, I think with Na'Vi, like, they're not going to be too bothered by that. They'll bring the same lineup for pretty much every single site here. In fact, what you're seeing coming along here is exactly the same by the looks of it. No changes of note for either side, except, of course, it's Unleashing Joe. That's the big one that I'm looking towards and saying he's the one to keep an eye on, because he's got that. He's on this kind of Zofia entry role here rather than Thatcher that's more for the utility. Put him alongside Sage, stick Doki more on the back foot by playing the Hibana. That's just enabling the 2 fraggers on this side to really go to town for them.
Now, that's the thing kind of I wanted to point at here, because often what we see nowadays is that the attacking lineup is actually quite similar for all the sites. You might see small little differences, but if you're looking at Clubhouse, there's probably not going to be that big of a change, because downstairs you basically need 2 hard breachers, and CCTV you basically need 2 hard breachers, and if you go to the bedroom, you also need about 2 hard breachers. So would it even be worth it to go to your tertiary bomb site first, like, other than a mentality maybe aspect? Because strategy-wise, it doesn't really seem to be that big of a deal anymore, considering how static the attacking lineup seems to be.
If you're kind of hoping that Na'Vi brings something different, then maybe. But here, I think it's worth touching on this round. I mean, Medics very expertly pointed it out. We chose to ignore you. I apologize, Medics. There is an SSG-esque roam on the go here, where they have got the mutes upstairs. They've got the Vigil upstairs as well. And it's about the damage they're trying to do by having a couple of members floating on the floors above. There's the castle on the ground floor. There was the Vigil and the mute on the top floor, as you can see here from next one on renewals. So it's not quite the textbook SSG roam, where you'll normally have the Vigil playing on the ground floor with the mute and the Mozzie upstairs. You also can't deny as much intel denial on the top floor. So it's something for them. It's just wasting a bit of time here, forcing Na'Vi to get on the drones and lose drones in the process. They're already down 4 drones. So I like it. It's not making Na'Vi as comfortable. It might force them to make mistakes when we come to the closing seconds of the round.
Definitely so. Kendra here on the rappel. Very well common spots, just holding off to anybody maybe rotating down those main stairs. If, for example, there was still a roamer present, was not going to be able to find anybody yet. Crying, staying very patiently as Davis and Kendra now trying to go for a bit of a pinch here. Won't be able to find him yet. No information out on whether or not there is going to be a player on those main stairs either. And as Crying falls back, there's currently 4 players of Chaos, 5 actually. I didn't see next one for a second. All on site. So all that Na'Vi needs to do now is open up the angles and start, well, basically gunning them down one by one in this last minute.
That's been a very peaceful 2 minutes, given the aggressive hold coming out of Chaos. Instead, with 3 or 4 members playing off site. Now most of them have retreated back down to the site. No one's yet found themselves coming to the aggressors, or in vice versa. And as I say, it's a cast a curse. Blur picks up renewals, and the trade comes back elsewhere onto Joe. Not quite going to be another 3-kill wonder round for him, but it still gives an opportunity for Chaos to balance things out.
Definitely has the opportunity here. Last 30 seconds as next one will be able to pick up yet another kill. He's right underneath the hatch, but he will be taken down by Doki, who manages to find him safe, will followed out with a kill as well. And that means it's all up to Fito and secretly, but the diffuser will actually be dropped secretly. Was in the back of Armory right there. He's going to be able to at least drop one, but he's all on his lonesome now. Blur is on 1 HP, needs to pull out that Goon Needle, otherwise he will die. He's going to be able to land the first gunshot. Also saves, he's going to be able to get the kill, swaps over to the pistol. It is the, well, 911, I believe it is. 45 damage per shot, but chooses to roll reload on TT5.
Nice.
And indeed gets that kill. Chaos able to get that clutch out. It looked very panicky at times here, but managed to get the kill in the end. Of course, not the 911, but yeah.
Yeah. It felt like Na'Vi really were in a spot there where they didn't know secretly he was actually playing at the back of Arsenal, because the drop comes in, instantly try and stick the plant, and secretly's like, dude, what are you doing?
Free up.
Exactly. Steps out to the left, gets the 1 spray down, and then Na'Vi are just like, oh, god damn it. Now we've got to deal with him before we can try and make this happen. And he manages to win the 1v2. Unfortunate. Felt like a round that Na'Vi should have won, but secretly being in that spot, a little bit of misdroning coming out of Na'Vi gives them something, and that puts us at 1 apiece. Now go upstairs to CCTV and Cash, that 3rd site. And I don't want to say it just yet because we've only seen 2 rounds. It does take teams a couple of rounds to warm into it sometimes. Look at the last map. Rogue took 2 of the first 3 rounds against Secret, only for Secret to steamroll by taking the next 5 or 6 all back to back. So I'm thinking here, give them a couple of rounds and maybe we'll see Chaos settle into this defense. If they go on to lose this round though, it's not looking good because in my mind again, they should have just lost round number 2, putting Na'Vi at 2-0.
Definitely so, and then you're looking at the map as well. Defense sided, as we so often say, and if the attack would be able to get 3 consecutive rounds to start things off with, let's say that's suboptimal. So it's something that they need to be wary of right now. Make sure you're not losing out any more rounds, and if you lose, so maybe just 1 tops. Nothing more than that. That is what you can afford. If it's, well, starting to get out of hand and turns into 3 rounds, maybe even 4 rounds lost, then you're going to have yourself a really tough second half to go into.
Speaking on Clubhouse, we did see it played 6 times last season. This site was the most favourable for defenders with a 60% win rate, the map overall at 59%. So you'd imagine if Chaos are going to be able to do it anywhere, it's going to be here, especially given that the Ace is banned away, should open up more opportunities for playing this bandit tricking. And the reason why I touch on the Ace being banned away, a lot of teams opting to run that as their sole hard breach, or generally playing around it with something like a mute becomes quite easy to get walls open. The one thing I want to make sure that they're being mindful of here, especially Vito, is grenades coming singing in from the west window. As soon as Blur steps anywhere near that window, he needs to get out of dodge. Here he is, lurking, the Predator. The thing is, no EMPs, they can't clear out any of the ADSs that are inside the site, but they can still burn them out. The fact that gets all the way through means they can do it, they can do it. This is the easiest kill of his life if he gets it right. Does do half damage, but this wall's going to get opened up. I don't know where the ADSs were there, what the hell happened to not block
What are you
those out,
peeking?
but they managed to get away with it, and Blur finding out Vito. Not quite sure why you feel so aggressively you can peek into a window like that, given there's a whole rooftop, there's repels, there's everything that can work against you, but Blur finds yet another opening kill.
I was going to say, why are you peeking at the grenade just came out and you're choosing to go for the peek in that moment in time? Now, this is where the ADSs actually went. They're down there, and that means that, well, secretly we'll be safe from any grenades to potentially rain in. But they do have a lot of control now. They have opened up the wall quite early on. They have taken out Vito as well, could potentially be carrying a C4, so you do not have to worry about that part. And right now, the focus will be divided towards the actual construction side. Go for the next stop right here. This shield is going to be a key, though, like a key playing point to go around. Renewals needs to make sure that Saves is actually allowed to move in, and well, as we do that, Joe actually starts moving in from the plateau, picking up a kill onto the rafters.
One of the things I commented on the other day with Na'Vi's attacks, they need to tighten up a little bit. Like I said at the start of the game, they looked a bit limp at stages, just didn't have enough bite about them. Whereas here, they are executing pretty fast. The stages in which they got those grenades singing in and trying to find kills was good. Couldn't quite convert them out, but there's Joe and Saves picking up kills here from inside of construction and doing damage. C4 sings through, finds nothing. Next one desperately trying to battle back here and bring something to his team. Renewals joining the party. That puts things into a 2 versus 2. Next one taken down by Saves on the rotator. And in he comes through the window, gets yet another one. What a round coming out of Saves with 3 kills to his name, and a third round going the way of Na'Vi. Again, the score says 2-1. I really feel like this could be 3-0 right now.
It should have been 3-0 actually, but due to the fact that they missed a little bit of information, that plans did not go as planned in round number 2. And as a result, right now, we are going into round number 4. It is 2-1 for Na'Vi, and as you said, it could have been 3-0. Should have possibly been 3-0. And Na'Vi basically got all the rounds they already need for this half to find themselves in the decent split. And everything from here on forward is a big profit, something they can use to close out this game, well, easier as soon as they go over to the defense themselves.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Second attempt at that from Chaos is going to be part of the plan. Did we see where all 3 of the radiuses were? In the end, we saw the one that was out towards the west, right? Where were the other 2?
There were 2 in construction.
Where was the third? Did we spot it?
I did not see it myself. Oh, might have been Raptors,
it would have been
actually.
a garage or something like that,
yeah.
but maybe they burnt it out inside a CCTV. Either way, my thinking... It's
It
one
was
of
not
those
a
that if there was
CC.
genuinely no... There is one there now. There is one
Yeah.
there now, though. So maybe they blew that out earlier on. I don't know. But the thinking in that last round was if they placed no CCT... If they placed none there... In fact, you know what? The fact they put 2 here in this round, to me, just screams that they know they messed up last round. They know that they had them in the wrong place. They know they couldn't protect their trigger. You either commit to having Vito playing on the wall by having the ADSs with him, or you don't put any ADSs there, and he is ready to run away from that wall at the first sniff of trouble. The fact that he hung around and got him naded and then chose to peek onto the window just screamed to me that Chaos were trying to do a little bit too much in this round. So I like here how exactly what they turned around and said is no, we definitely want to hold this wall, but that means we need more ADSs inside a CCTV.
All right, here we go. We're already opening up into garage, and that will show that this is where the next pressure will be coming from. They're changing up their take compared to what they did last time, as also the setup has changed. A bit more pressure into the garage early on might be what they need, and Saves is, he's the Ash. He has 2 explosive rounds, remember that? He's just checking his drone and sees a bandit laying prone, trying to open up. This Blur just comes in pre-firing with an SMG-11, almost hitting someone in the head.
These are the nice parts, I think, of the yellow ping system, by the way, is that you can do that. You can ping it, okay, there's a hole here, people run in, they pre-fire it in case someone's holding it. I like it. It does help them in that sense. It's when you can start pinging players that, as we all know, it can be a little bit difficult at times. We've seen the number of pre-fires from Void the other day against Na'Vi and how much damage he did through the garage wall from inside of Lounge. At least here it's giving them that information to get them safely inside the building. And I thought with the garage take coming in, they'd be trying to get some nades through the window into CCTV. Doesn't look to be the play. Instead, they've taken Lounge control and got Joe below to pop those impacts into the floor, removing Vito from danger.
They also followed up, of course, with one of the stuns, making sure that the bandit is not going to be able to actually trick, because, well, it double impacts it, but it's basically too dangerous to actually peek himself, because there's players all around downstairs could, well, overextend himself just a little bit if he wanted to go for that. So save option chosen, go for the stun. Make sure that the bandit's animation would be cancelled in case he would be trying. That means right now the wall has been opened up, but no control yet. Basically, everybody still standing on the side of Chaos and Na'Vi. As the C4 just got rained in, it's going to be Doki to be the first one to fall.
This is part of my concern here, is they're down to literally one drone left on side and still barely have any control, as you alluded to. Sure, they've got the downstairs, but not a whole ton of idea of what's going on site. Next one peeking out to try and find something onto those playing around garage, but saves a little too wise for that. It's almost like he's done it a few times himself. Gets one onto renewals, puts us into a 3 versus 3 with 40 seconds still to play and only one drone left alive for the side of Na'Vi.
Here we go. Joe's going to be able to take out the Banshee, but accidentally walks himself into the smoke, taking quite a lot of damage, more than might have been necessary. Default will be opened up with the sledgehammer. Blur is going to be able to move through, but a new smoke canister will be moving through. Joe needs to put some pressure down onto these red stairs. He needs to take down the smoke, and he does so successfully. Secretly will fall, and it's up to next one now together with Vito to try and make sure that this round will actually go into their hands, because otherwise Na'Vi, their lead, is getting out of hand. Vito will be jumping out. A C4 will be coming through. Is not going to be able to get a kill as he got shot out somehow. Next one, however, will be able to respond. Joe is the last man standing. He's swapping around the corner, not able to get that kill. It's a one-on-one situation now, and the defenders will win by time because the plant was not being stuck or sticked, whatever the past tense is of that word.
Stuck, yeah. Lucky out of time ending there, though, because that came down to a real scrap, and this is part of the... So it's part of the punishment of having no information left alive for the side to make use of, is you're not quite sure where everyone is on site. And it's the next one getting a couple of kills. It's Vito being able to jump out of construction and chuck a C4 in. Thankfully for the side of Na'Vi, found no one, but the time runs down to 0. Na'Vi haven't moved fast enough. They get punished for it, and Chaos take the round. Intel's important, kids. Round number 5, Church and Arsenal coming up next.
Here we go. Church and Arsenal. Another round there, Na'Vi got really close, and it shows how strong they are and that Chaos really needs to get into this game a bit better than they are right now. Yes, they managed to win that round, but again, they probably shouldn't have won that one. But well, if you manage to keep on winning those rounds and somehow you will be ending up winning the match, then in the end it doesn't matter all that much. But still, Na'Vi, they're looking quite strong. Joe able to put up some big numbers on the board here together with saves. But Chaos really has to be afraid. What if Doki starts waking up as well? What if Kendrew starts fragging out of his mind as well? Are you ready in that case? Because there's a lot of fragging potential here on Navi's side.
This is what made them so terrifying last year, I think, in the age of when Citizen was on the side, as we all know, and look at the kind of delivery it gave to them then. Rising up from being, as we always say in the National Leagues, as M&M, through to Challenger League, winning Challenger League, winning Pro League, and then going on to win the Pro League finals. It was an incredible year for them, and they haven't really been able to find their form since then. And this has been the big story, is what changes they have to make, what people have they got to bring in to join them to make this a world-beating side once more. And there has been a lot riding on Blur and Joe, admittedly a lot of criticism or worry and concern that they are fresh players. They're from the UK. Joe, I think if anyone's watched him before, seen him playing Yukin, you'll see that on Twitter it can be quite emotional when he doesn't do well. And the other day definitely wouldn't have helped his confidence, going 7-11 with a 50% cost rating. But today so far, looking much better. I say that, it's another caster curse. Next one kills him in the opening kill. So nothing more to offer in this round, but already this game has been going just as well as the game did for him the other day, and then some.
This is exactly what they need on the likes of Chaos. Get those entry frags in. Cripple Navi from the get-go if you want to be able to put up a good fight in the late round. It's been more so that Navi threw 2 rounds here, then, well, of course, Chaos clutched them out as well. So Chaos, they're looking for a round that they completely earned themselves just from the start, where they dominated Navi. And this could be the one to be, to be that round. They managed to get the first entries, Doki and Joe gone, so that means only 1 Heart Breacher left.
Ooh.
And try. I like how Kimber tries to.
I know, like. I'm very confused. They make it work for them anyway. There's no second impact coming out of crying to stop this one being opened up at the very least, which means Kitchen is now in their control. Majority of the members on the side of Chaos, it looks like hanging down towards the south inside of Church. 1 or 2 still hung around, looking towards Secretly, namely playing inside of Dirt with a shotgun, just waiting for someone to try and push down. A little bit paranoid here, I think, because no one is really pushing inside of here right now.
Well, it's only a profit for Navi in that case, because the smoke canisters are being used. As Navi's trying to set themselves up again, using their utility to try and deny any ADS that might be there, but 2 of them will be located in blue, and 1 of them is located in Church, so all the projectiles can just freely rain through this hatch. And as they slowly start to try and get some control, the grenades are being tossed in as well. not be hitting anything. Not quite sure what it was aimed at, as secretly now falling back through the dirt tunnel. Or if that one player of Navi... No one is still there anymore. Never mind. I was going to say, well, if the one Navi player is still there, but they all rotated out. 2 on the hatch, 1 on the main stairs.
Looks a little one-dimensional here, and I guess without Doki to help you open hatches, that's part of the problem. You can't open the hatches and look towards something like Church Wall without Doki on side of the Habana. Instead, you're looking towards Kendra with just those 2 exothermics, and this goes exactly as you would expect. All trying to drop in through the kitchen hatch. I say all, it's more just the one, but Saves gets picked up elsewhere. That leaves Blur, who was upstairs with Kendra, all by themselves, and this round's going to get closed out with Cryan picking up that final kill. A flawless round, and this is what I needed to see from Chaos. Get out in the map, look to disrupt players like Joe, players like Doki, and just shut Na'Vi down before they can even look to attack, because that is what made them look so, again, air quotes, limp against Tempera the other day when they were on the attack.
Nice train, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Sorry.
Everyone heard that one, eh?
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
I just
So,
wanted
fun
to,
fact, I've been having a wonderful time of trying to mute my microphone and even trying to move my noise gate so high that you guys don't hear trains. I live like
Is that
15
why you
meters away from a
sometimes
train
just
out my window.
randomly throw it? I'm like, oh, okay. Or is it not the case?
No, I'm not that great. I haven't got a crystal ball to tell me exactly when a train's about to come past.
You don't have the schedule open.
Closed. No, I might have to start. You know how Geo is like obsessed with airplanes. I might have to start doing the same for trains.
Yeah, download the train app, and then you can see when they're about to come by.
I guess there's so many that go past. The one that goes by at 2 in the morning, like a massive, like heavy waste train, like shakes the house. It's unbelievable.
Does it wake you up?
No, I'm a deep sleep. Once I'm asleep, there is no waking me up until at least like 8 AM the next day. Doesn't happen.
Good. Appreciate a good night's sleep. But Chaos find themselves their 3rd round. Going back upstairs to gym bedroom. The first bomb site we have seen. Back then it didn't work. Will it this time? That is the question. They need this round if they want that 4-2 split. Otherwise, Na'Vi is going to be able to walk away with that, well, 3-3, which I would see as a win. Oh, this is typical next one. Pistol spawn peaks. I've seen him do this in Benelux all day long. He's just obsessed with it.
Says knows. The man knows. You remember actually it was the other day, it was Doki playing with a similar pistol. I think it was on the Malusi, was it? Charging around trying to one-tap everything which breathed. It was ridiculous. But that sort of play is not too foreign here to us. Like you say, we've seen it before in Benelux, in places like Challenger League. Nothing going to come of it immediately, and then Joe's going to catch renewal. So despite being the only frag in the last round, in fact, this is almost identical to what happened last time, if you recall. Doki opens up the wall, Joe goes to peek it and wins the opening frag onto the player inside of CCTV. That gives the controller south balcony in record time, and now we haven't got to worry about not being able to play on the south balcony because the player's been removed so early.
Didn't even see you open up the CCTV plateau. I was like, where did he kill it from? But if that's opened up, that makes sense indeed. And Vito get a bit of a scare as the hatch could open up suddenly. He has to fall back. He's going to be able to escape, of course, quite easily. No one is there to contest him. They just, oh, there we go. Yeah, indeed, open up with the Maverick. Beautiful run out from Cryan. Able to pick up Joe. Removed from the board. Plateau control back in their hands.
That's Cryan just like, oh, Joe, you like windows and jumping out and running out on people, So what? I can do that as well. Taste your own medicine, boy. Welcome to EUL. Next one getting another. Man, that is pain. Life is pain for these boys, apparently. I've just realized as well it was Kendra that opened the wall up slightly, rather than it being opened up by Doki because it is still electrified.
Man, I'm still shocked by that bullet hole. Well, window peak. It's not really a spawn peak anymore, right? When you're 2 minutes into the round. But bathroom's going to get opened up, and that is going to give them a little bit of pressure onto the actual site. Secretly will be spotted out close. Will be tossing out a smoke canister, just escaping with his life right there as Doki takes some damage. Is there a grenade left on Kenbrew, though? That is the question, because if there is, he might be able to just land it in there perfectly if there is no ADSs left. Does he have a grenade? No, he does not. But there's somehow not able to get the swing. The cover was there.
His way in. Because Doki gets one at the same time. Cryan's gone down 3 versus 2. Time still somewhat with Na'Vi here. Going on, they can find kills like this. Another trade comes through. This is a 1 versus 2. It's Vito by himself against 2 members here. If they can get across here and get this one back up, that might change things around, but there's no time and the risk is so great. Here comes the flank from Vito. We'll find one. 25 seconds left. It's all down to saves here to quite literally save the round. But no, Jesus Christ, the savior in this round is Vito. 2 kills coming out in the bitter end, despite that being a 1 versus 2. And Chaos get that 4-2 split they'll have been chasing.
And even though Na'Vi looked so strong in the start, Chaos is starting to fight back. It's up to Na'Vi now to try and shut them down and make sure that Chaos is not getting out of hand right now. Because that round, like again, Na'Vi are setting themselves up so well. They're managing to bring it down to a 1-on-2 situation. They have the opportunity to go for a plant, but not really committing to it at the moment in time due to a lack of information, which lost them the round now. And that is basically a recurring theme. The 3 times where they lost the rounds, where they had an advantage, was due to a lack of information. They did not know where the last player was. That is how they lost out on the first gunfight. And suddenly it's in a 1v1 situation, and then it can go either way.
Remembering back to how Na'Vi played on Monday on this map, again I mentioned when they were against Tempera, there were 2 rounds that they lost. Tempera, of course, won those away on the attack. And both of them came down to very scrappy final 10-second 2v2s or 3v3s, normally with a diffuser thrown in the mix somewhere as well. So I'd say that overall Na'Vi actually defended very well on them away. You probably did just hear that train go past. It was a pretty big one. They defended it pretty well overall, but it still came down to very scrappy fights in the dying moments. And I think if Na'Vi can waste Chaos's time on the attack here with Joe doing Joe things, i.e. being at windows, trying to get spawn peaks like he's trying to do, I'd argue, around about now, that can really help them. It can force scrappy round endings, and I think that is where Na'Vi are going to thrive.
Let's see if they're going to be able to get them. First round, we're not really seeing the windows being opened up as much as you would like to see, possibly from Joe. Very early entry into the strip room, though. Strip club, rather. Is awaiting the drone of Vito before he opens up. Seems like Joe will be hunted as the first one of the Na'Vi members.
But you have to. Knowing that he's on the road looking to cause some trouble, you've got to catch him out. Oh, interesting how they almost try and play for a trade with the drone there rather than 2 players. Almost get away with it as well, but Joe just managed to slip his way back down to sight. With that has wasted only a couple of seconds, really, but still killed a drone on his way back in. So looking to play the map here and catch these drones out, burn down that intel game coming out of Chaos, albeit only 2 drones are still currently dead.
Question being, though, where is Doki right now? Doki was, of course, the second player that was roaming. Not sure. Okay, he fell back too. That's gonna dismantle my whole theory I had about how he would be going for a late flank and stuff like that. No, it's gonna be next one now to try and contest him as he takes control of the garage storage.
I did have a chat with Doki and asked, okay, well, what happens to your guys' roles now that you've got Joe and Blur on side? And he said, generally, Joe's going to be the one playing the roaming game. He's taking over my old role. You'll still see me, i.e. Doki, on Jaeger. But my role is more defensive when I'm playing that. I'm not really looking to play the roaming game. So I think here what you're seeing is Doki looking more to play a site-based player, or like you say, more of a late-round flanking style if Joe dies. But for the most part, it's Joe looking to be cheeky under hatches, seeing what he can find. Renewals was his target, but no kills to be found over on that side.
Really wanted to see him toss up a C4 right there as it gets tagged down, just a little bit rotating out. Joe taking that damage, of course, still in the fight in these last remaining 60 seconds. Brian will be trying to get himself over to the oil pit real quick. His saves, instead of a shotgun, he's actually using the FMG onto the smoke. Will be able to pick up that first kill onto next one. Next one, of course, a big fragger from the likes of Chaos together with Crying. It's the fragging duo coming over from the Lowland Lions, or Diffuse Skits, as you want to call them. Now here on Chaos, both in EUL. Maybe not really the result they hoped for yet on Monday. Hoping to do better now. They have the rounds. They just need to finish it off.
All like these stepping in frags though, coming out of Joe. A second, oh my word. That was like walking through a minefield. 2 C4s going off, one finally connecting the kill, but Blur steps up, and I tell you what, I'll give a shout out to this guy. Entry frags today, he's found himself a couple already. His contribution in rounds has been massive, and this round does not change. 3 kills for him. And Na'Vi with a pretty good defense, all coming out the back of what I'm calling the support apprentice here. When everyone thinks of Na'Vi, you look to Kendra and think, my god, clutch god, fragger, one of the best players when it comes to being aggressive in the support role. I said the other day, I think Blur is going to kind of learn from Kendra and grow around him, and these two could turn out to be a prolific supportive duo, especially given how well Blur's played so far today. I mean, Kendra hasn't, so someone's got it, right?
I mean, it's good to have 2 supports who can show up, right? If Kendra doesn't, then it's good if Blur does, because often they are your last line of defense, and you can see it right here. They He's showing up. Blur definitely making some big impact plays, and they're only 1 round away from bringing it back to 4-4, and they will choose to go to CCTV cash. It has to be the sites where they do it. If they manage to get this round, though, it's not over yet. We're going up to Gym Bedroom next, and that one will be very deciding. If Natus Vincere is going to be able to pick up that round as well, then it will be game over for Chaos.
Just found out very interestingly that my prediction for Secret versus Rogue in that last game, thankfully in the CCG predictions, was Secret. So I've kind of been absolved of trying to say it was going to be a draw.
I changed it around. I had Rogue there, but like after how, like, you know, we submit them on Monday, or on Sunday, and I saw them play. I'm like, nah. I'm gonna swap it around for the predictions that actually matters when I'm directly up against you guys. So I have people.
Pap always.
I have people tweet at me though, like, oh, no, Rogue is gonna win. I'm like, just trust me. Don't worry. I have faith in my Secret boys.
They are definitely starting to grow a fan club now, and we are both the founding members, it feels like.
Yeah.
Long-time shills of these boys all the way back from the CL days. We'll see if their journey can continue. This one continues, though, for Chaos. Don't forget, they are still sat at the bottom of the table here in EUL on 5 points. And with Secret taking 2 wins this week, they move up to 11 points. That gap between Chaos and any other team is starting to widen. If we get to the end of this season and Chaos is still sat in 10th place, auto-relegation kicks in, and they are gone. Vito trying to take a fight against Joe. You don't win those against Joe. This man's a madman at the windows. Why would you even try?
Why are you so close to the window in the first place? Joe just come by, punches it, and starts shooting with that. I believe it was the P10 Roni he's using. It's not even the gun that like most people use on the Mozzie. Indeed, the P10 instead of the Commander 9. Misses a few bullets. That is often the choice why, well, the reason why people choose to go for a different one. Quick opening though onto CCTV. Quick, 1 minute 20. It means that at least they do have the pressure as Joe picks up secretly.
Your boys gone in today 10-5 so far after 7 rounds. This is what I think everyone expected to see back on Monday when they knew that this guy had been picked up. And look at that. 2 kills before they'd even got inside the building. Unbelievable, and what the man is renowned for.
Joe indeed still holding tight. He's in the middle of lounge right here. And next one is spotting out one player. Look at that. That is the new perspective, by the way, right? You can see him on that drone, but Saves cannot see it himself because of the fact that the camera has been changed to the middle. And as I said, Reynolds is going to be able to pick up Saves, and a grenade comes in onto Joe, so they knew exactly where these 2 players were. And suddenly we're having an equal round again with 3-on-3 with just a minute to go. No presence in garage, no presence in lounge. This is going to be, well, probably a plant to come down from Chaos anytime soon.
Yeah, a little bit of a patience game being played by Chaos, just holding those angles and waiting for someone to step into them. Managed to pressure the one out of garage, managed to kill Joe below. It does remove a lot of the pressure that was going on down towards the south side. And as you can see from these final 3 remaining members of Na'Vi, they've conceded control of CCTV. They're out of garage, they're not playing below. Everyone is upstairs playing inside of cash. And with the Echo, yes, looking towards some of that. But Blur's now gone down. That makes life a bit tougher. Crying, almost getting sprayed out, but still keeping himself alive, but barely. Question is, how long can Na'Vi hold on for here? Only 15 seconds left to go, Hap.
15 seconds left to go, indeed, and Blur went down with 3 gas canisters in his hands. Kendra, all you need to do is stay alive right now. You are the one who needs to live. You can stop this plant right now. You have your yokai drone. Go onto it now. You're going to be able to stop it, but he doesn't do it. He decides to go for the gunfight instead. He gets both of them. Kendra goes for a quick cheeky teabag, and instead of using the yokai drone to secure the round, he will be using the MP5 SD. He gets it. Now we're back on 4-4, and as he was quiet before, he definitely made up for it now in this one round.
The man was wondering what would give him the most style points there, and I guess the answer was always going to be forget the yokai drone. Let's instead just go and spray some fools down. Beautiful stuff, and gives Na'Vi yet another round, as you say. Things are squaring up pretty well for the boys. Between both sides, things have looked pretty even. All things are being aligned right now at 4 apiece. I'm curious to see how this game ends. Does it really go all the way to a draw? Do Chaos maintain that old legacy that has haunted them for the entirety of the last stage and find themselves only walking away with a measly single point?
I mean, they swapped out 2 players, so you would not hope that they are going back to the ways of the draws. But then again, Rogue swapped out some players and they went back to being first round on the major. So some things just don't change.
Some things
you know?
just never die.
Some things never
change,
die.
never die.
No matter what you do. Like even if you swap out these last 3 members, you know, it's still gonna be there. Don't worry. You're cursed with it now.
It follows the org. It doesn't follow the players. So the simple answer is
Well,
we
I
get
mean,
rid of chaos.
Rogue has been like for Rogue's case, it has been with the lineup because they've been through like 4 different orgs in that time. So it's like, how does this curse
They've
work?
ran the rocky road.
You're a witch doctor. You're a witch doctor. You should know how these curses work.
I don't know how some of these ones work. Sorry, they're a bit too mystical for me. I don't know, man. There is no curse in the world strong enough to break that draw curse that appears to be stuck on Chaos. But let's talk a little bit around this game, because we've touched on it a couple of times already. Joe being absolutely mega for them so far. And in this round here, you get a nice replay coming through of Kendrew pulling off a heroic feat in this round. We touched on him a little bit as well, that Blur was the one stepping up and Kendrew was being quiet with shots like that. I'm not surprised. He's 1-6 in this game. But what matters is that in this round, he steps through and gets it for them. 2 kills coming out and does secure it, bringing it up at 4 apiece as mentioned. And of course, got to dunk those tea bags in the water a couple of times too.
Only 8 bullets in the MP5 after that first gunfight. He needed 6 of them to get that kill because he just sprayed from the left to the right. Managed to get the headshot in there and the defuse right after. So absolutely well played. And we're on 4-4 now. And I just prefaced it a bit before. See, as a preface, not preface, something that we, you know, me and Milos used to do wrong. But
was it Milos who said that, and Gio was like,
Milos mainly.
Me, it's preface, actually.
Basically the entire time, indeed, yes. But they're going up to Gym Bedroom next, and that side might be deciding for who will actually win the game. Because if Navi will be able to get that win in there, they've fulfilled the complete rotation. After that, they're going to be able to go back down. And if you manage to win there, then you're suddenly on match point. So this one is going to be the most important round for Chaos, possibly from the next 2 to 3 rounds that they're playing.
Yeah, and I think the issue that I'm kind of seeing with them is you're looking towards like Next One and Crying. They're the 2 big boys that got brought in, of course, secretly returned back from Fierce in the UK to be the RGL for the team. But you're looking towards Next One and Crying really to be the big boys on the team that are get out there, cause some trouble, be fraggers for the team. Because that feels like it's the one thing that Chaos have missed in all of their previous iterations are players that are able to go and do what players like Shiko can do, what Leon can do on a good day, what we've seen players like Doki do historically, is get out there, cause some trouble and pick up the frags for your team in those tough times when they're really required. And I think with these changes being made, that's the problem they were trying to fix with Crying and Next One. It's been a rough road so far. Crying being a little bit too lonely last season. Next One's still trying to gel for the top game, but I know there is so much hype around him. It might be they need a little bit more time to really gel in, but my biggest concern, as I'll keep on saying, is they are currently in last place. If this takes another week or 2 to sort things out, there won't be enough points left for them to be able to keep themselves from getting auto-relegated, and that's going to feel really bad, given they've just moved into EWO with an org, and then they get relegated. It's going to suck. Secret
just moved up. No, not Secret. Oh yeah, Secret actually just moved up. They managed to get 6 points already, so they're basically out of that danger zone right now. Empire managed to get 3 points, and Chaos is lacking behind. They are, well, not making progress. Let's keep it like that right now.
I wonder actually how the stand is currently 6. I'm sure we have those updated somewhere.
Oh, let me check.
Yeah,
we can.
We have current. I don't really have them as a total in terms of who currently sits where, I guess in terms of totals. And even though I remember someone said earlier on that G2 were on like, was it 18 after last stage? And Secret have managed to bump themselves up now to 14. They're 4 points behind G2. Like, that is an insane thing to say. And I said it back earlier on. They might find themselves jumping into the top 4 real soon. Currently, they sit in second place, well, joint first place with BDS. The only reason why they aren't first place over BDS is they've lost 1 more round. So go figure.
G2 actually on 18 points. Secret was an 8 during stage 1, so just add the new points and you got it. So they're not really that close yet, but definitely getting close, because Virtus Pro, for example, only had 12 points. So they're closing in on them. Empire had 9, Tempera had 10, Vitality had 11. So
yeah,
they're definitely making some major ground away from the relegation zone, whilst Chaos is in last place with 5 points and is still down there, all alone.
There is work to be done for these boys, and I know how much every single game means. None of them want to find themselves out of the European League come the end of Playday number 9, I guess. Time will tell. There's still much more to come from this stage. This is only the first week. It's Playday number 2. We're back here for the next 4 weeks, bringing you all the best of these teams. So do be sure to make sure you keep on tuning in. It's always going to be worth it. Anyway, we're back to a reset in terms of stats here. So sadly, we can't see how well Joe was doing. That's kind of the point I started talking about right back at the start, was that Rihos came in, is that on Monday he didn't shine. Today he has been shining, and that has been the big difference for this team, I think.
Has been shining as well. It's the second game into the EUL right now, and little does he know, there's 2 members of Chaos right on the other side of that wall, hoping to put some pressure down early.
Renewals being the one on the Maverick, I thought they'd try and get him over here. I mean, secretly is there, but they need to get rid of the jammer. Could be a simple job for next one to get inside of storage and deal with that. Unfortunately, by the looks of it, a game crash coming through, so we'll sort that out in a second. But hey, for now, the round will play on. Got one lurking downstairs. It's Blur trying to cause some trouble. So Blur, the player that we spoke about being more supportive, currently the one playing on the roam here, trying to bring down some members of Chaos as they're running around above him.
I think they lost Joe. Indeed, there we go. He will be disconnected, and that's unfortunate for the way he performed. He was about to be shut down by next one anyway. Of course, it's because he was standing still in that position. It wouldn't have happened if he wasn't there. But it is going to be a 4-on-5 situation for the remainder of this round, and well, even though it's a really important one for Na'Vi, it might be even more important one for Chaos here. Grenades being tossed in, fire arrows being, well, fire actually being deployed because of the shields being exploded.
Yeah. I like how really the only thing that's changed here for Na'Vi, at least, is they've just kind of backed off on playing this extended hold. They've, rather than committing towards holding it and trying to dedicate members, normally you'll see players, like I think when we see Wamai a couple of times, they just really hard hold inside a cache and try and waste as much time as possible, sometimes resigning themselves to death. But at least here what Na'Vi have done is said, right, back away, play the site. They're clearly stacking all their numbers out towards the east. Let them do that. We've wasted about 30 seconds or so. Sure, the disconnect is unfortunate, but we're still confident we can win from the gunplay from here.
Look at where Kendra is, though. That actually gives away their whole plan right here. Blur will be able to pick up one kill. Kendra, I don't know where the drone is. Well, it's coming in right now, as you see. But Kendra is all the way downstairs. He's going to be completely focusing and banking on the fact that his teammates are going to be able to stall this out until the very last 10 seconds. He's hidden his yokai drones. This is the strategy Na'Vi wants to go for. They lost a player. They're adapting to it. As soon as Joe dropped, Kendra was running downstairs as soon as they realized it's safe. He has a yokai drone per side. There's 30 seconds left. A plan takes about 7. That's all you need to be aware of right now. And all he does now is bang on his teammates. Make sure that you can try and hold them up as long as possible. And Doki is doing a good job there. It's a down onto renewals, a kill onto next one. They're trying to return some fire, but there's almost no time left. This will be a Na'Vi round with a Blur triple kill, actually a quad kill maybe even. As we had a disconnect from Joe, they completely changed their strategy. Kendra moved downstairs. All they wanted to do was stall, but all they did was kill.
That was crazy. Genuinely crazy. A couple of things went wrong for Chaos in that round that we touched on as they happened. You're peeking a hatch when a drone is literally 2 seconds away from getting into a room and droning it out for you. You're peeking in blind, you're being brought down. You're then having someone else re-peek it again, by which time Doki has moved himself out into the corridor and got a second kill. You've then got secretly trying to swing around 5 seconds later, and he gets picked up as well. So not only have you mistimed the way you're trying to push with the drone, you're also pushing in literally one at a time rather than trying to play for trades. That was just, oddly enough, chaotic coming out of Chaos. It didn't look like a thought-together attack, one that they'd planned out, communicated ahead of time, and they have just thrown away a massive advantage where they were in a 5 versus 4 with quite a bit of time still left to play. That puts Na'Vi at 5 and 4, and if Chaos might have just given themselves, as you mentioned at the very start, that defeat on a site that if they had have won, could have propelled them towards victory. I think now with Na'Vi being on the defensive, given they have yet to lose a defensive round, this game should be done and dusted. Na'Vi take all 3 points.
And it's indeed what I was saying. That round was going to be the swing. If they managed to pick that one up, it could have been a draw. It could have been a win for Chaos. But now Na'Vi has managed to win all 3 bomb sites. Even one in a 4v5 situation where Kendra managed to basically completely separate himself from the rest. Basically make it a 3v5 situation on the site with 2 yokai drones to back you up. That is what it was. Nothing more than that.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. I think it was a smart play.
See, this is what they've done, right? Na'Vi have gone to an insurance broker and said, look, we're looking for some Joe insurance here. And they said, guys, you've already got it. You've got Kendra on an Echo. If he isn't going to reconnect, rely on the other 2 or 3 members to hold out for you. And if things really don't go to pot, at least you've got yokai drones still to play with. And part of that reliance comes down to the fact that Chaos weren't going to be so hot with their time control. That's exactly how it played out for them. And although they didn't need the yokai drones, they were there as a backup option in case that fight inside logistics office didn't go to plan.
Well, definitely didn't go to plan for the likes of Chaos. As right now, they find themselves a round behind after they had a 4-2 split, something that was, well, a big advantage for them. Maybe more than they should have hoped for, considering the form that Na'Vi was on those first 3 attacks especially. Now they're going to have to try and fight back. The name of the game, try and make sure to reach 6 first, to be the ones in control of the match point. But Renewals has to be careful because Joe, yet again, is ready right here. Does he spot that the player? That doesn't seem to be the case yet. He knows he's there. There we go. There comes the kill. And as the Maverick removed from the board, of course he will be traded out, but no more grenades that he can use.
You know this is the thing. He's already tried to do it to you once, and you stayed alive that time narrowly by dodging away from the bullets, and here you've just walked into the same thing again. Whether or not it's a drone game here, getting something inside a motor or around church so you know where Joe is and what it is he's trying to do is one thing, or just being much more cautious as you're opening up these hatches is another. But that was a bit sloppy coming out of Renewals and potentially out of the rest of Chaos in not supporting him in that endeavor. Yes, there is a trade back, but you've lost your Maverick there. That's a big deal with the grenades gone, like you said, and also more difficulty in getting hatches open as he is off the board and your only reliance is now on the thermite.
Do they know that there's a bullet hole right here being held? It doesn't seem like it, as next one is just going to be trying to move through slowly. Is he going to be able to get the kill down onto the player in third? It's going to be Kendra that is playing there. I don't think he can actually see that angle. As Doki gets spotted out, he will be wall-banged indeed. A beautiful shot from next one that was necessary as well. Kendra rotates out, but a bit more of a wall-bang coming through actually from the likes of the main stairs, and Crying now fighting back together with the rest of Chaos. A 2-4 situation, suddenly only 1 drone remaining for Chaos to feed them information, but they have that 2-man advantage right here. Turn that into a 2-man advantage again as the kill come back in. C4 will be tossed in, but it won't last. Chaos will win that round. Can 5-5, and we might see ourselves another draw to come up.
That was pretty dominant, to be fair, as well, hitting the crucial shots they needed to close things out. And it did look like Na'Vi were running away with this game. Like, that might be done and dusted, and one more round would have put them at match point, 6-4. There's no way they can win 2 rounds in a row. Game is done and dusted. We said that last round, Gym and Bedroom was the one that Chaos had to win. They have just dragged Church and Arsenal over the finish line there with some great shots, and that's all it really came down to, hitting those critical shots at the end of it as well. Some good coordinated pushes coming through at the same time. 5-5, and we are starting to sniff that curse returning once more here, I think, Hap. Chaos are destined towards yet another draw.
They are heading towards it, but it can still be a win. Neither of these teams is on 6 yet. If Chaos manage to pick up this round as well, they might just as well have the opportunity to draw up again. If Na'Vi takes this one, though, it might turn into a defeat. So they have to be really careful about how they do this one, how to go onto this one. This is, again, a very deciding round. I was gonna say after the after round number 9 that was being won by Natus Vincere, I was gonna say they won it. This is their map. But Chaos manages to strike back onto the bottom floor, a site where previously, you know, in round number 1 they had not a single opportunity of hitting the shot, of hitting the actual site. Managed to fight back. Can they do it again? Can they actually adapt for this site? Make sure they win it. Last time they got a very early loss of 2 players, which they managed to turn back. It's now important you do not lose those 2 players and still get those 2 frags yourself.
On a bar being brought along by Na'Vi as well. On the Kendra, Doki, and Says, all 3 of them are brought along the barbed wire. So I guess more trying to deal with the pace that might come out the side of Chaos here. Less so of a focus towards the C4s. None of those on side, along with the single shield and the impacts on Joe. One of the nice things about Malus is you do have that flexible option of playing with the C4 or the impacts here. And I imagine that's maybe trying to play for Denial over a wall, like looking towards, I don't know, construction? I'm not sure.
Might be construction, the hatches open up, so you have the opportunity to just quickly toss in an impact from below.
And they've opened the top of the wall.
And they have opened it up from the top, yeah. So if he falls back into the site, you can actually try and counter it. If you're still from below, you have an opportunity to counter it. This is dangerous what Kendra is doing, though. Moving out that yokai into a better position, right past the actual plateau. Luckily for him, secretly was droning out, so wasn't going to be able to actually respond to it. It doesn't seem like they were aware of that drone. It could be quite dangerous.
I was about to say, if that drone has just fed any kind of info to them that there is definitely going to be a yokai waiting inside a garage, then that could be interesting. As long as they know to look for it. Vito is actually outside garage now, so I'm pretty sure he'll have looked up, had the gadget out, and got a good idea on what's going on. He'll know there's a yokai drone in there that's got to be destroyed before they can try and look for a default plant. But it's still the question of where do they want to set their attacks up here? Committing one of these thermite charges, in fact, both are now down, into getting up the garage wall open, despite it not being reinforced. That was just a soft wall, I believe.
Here we go, 2 walls open up, but then Saves comes in. It's going to be able to drop next one, as he is still being pressured, though, from the garage. He's going to be on his southwest side. Some things are coming in. Joe is coming in for the save as well, and it's going to be another kill to come down. Crying will go down. Saves able to pick that one up, and suddenly we find ourselves in a 2-on-5 situation in favor of Na'Vi. One player still in the bathroom, in the garage. I mean, I don't even know what the bathroom is right here. The stuns are coming in from the yokai. He will be forced back. Renewal's not going to be challenging right now. And as I say that, he is challenging. Exactly. A flawless round from Na'Vi. One more to go, and they get the win. One more to go, and they get the 3-pointer. What?
Do you not expect to get chased?
I think the question marks are justified. I don't know what he was thinking there.
I don't think he thought Joe was going to jump over and chase him. I don't know.
It wasn't Joe. Joe was downstairs the entire time, though. Saves was the one on the mezzanines, on the rafters. Okay, weird. It's okay.
The old TV show called Brainiac, and they have a little segment on there called Things That Make You Go, That was one of those moments. 6-5 to Na'Vi now. Last round, we're going to see all 12, of course, as we knew at the start of last round. We'll see if Chaos can snatch away that point or if Na'Vi take all 3. It would be one hell of a result given both teams have made 2 changes. Na'Vi looking to keep up the old pace and then improve it somewhat after replacing Panics, as we all know. On the other side, it looks like there might be a little bit more time needed to bring things together here. Maybe you say that for both sides. Maybe there are elements here that have worked about against both teams and a point for each is justified. But I would argue the biggest mistakes so far have come out of Chaos, and I'll allude back to that example inside Logistics. 3 separate 1v1s despite a drone being nearby and completely throwing away a 5 versus 4.
Like a Na'Vi is actually deciding to go up to the gym bedroom as well. Again, instead of going back to the CCTV cache. This is where they won a round pretty convincingly in a 4-on-5 situation, as we have the question marks again. First it gets shots at, and then decides to go for... It becomes more questionable every single time I see it.
Again, I don't know if he wasn't expected to get chased or what the game plan was there. Maybe he just gave up. Maybe he just said, you know what, Happy? He said, you know what? I'm done. That's it, boys. I'm done. I'm out.
Round's over. It's okay. Just finish it off. Put me out of my misery.
I have no idea what the team chat's like, but I've envisaged it was somewhere down that line of thinking. Either way, gym and bedroom, as you mentioned, is the point of attack. We mentioned about Chaos is complete and not a mess up inside of Logistics. Let's see if Na'Vi fall foul of the same kind of expectation. Starting things out towards the east is no surprise at all. Making sure you're breaking open this controlled or this extended hold so much that so many teams like to operate. Was that from the falling debris?
No, I think that was from an impact grenade. Maybe what Blur did is actually, like, as soon as a sledge, you know, he heard it and then just replied with an impact grenade, because there's like a little fence up there which you can throw it up against. If you throw it up against that fence, you might be able to just do enough damage to actually hit him down for like that much.
Doesn't do that much damage though, right? Does 66?
Yeah, that as well. Damage? It shouldn't be doing that much damage for a direct hit, so it's still.
It must have been something else too.
Maybe a bit of team damage at the start. Who knows?
Yeah. Unlucky, I guess. Either way, they found the opening kill onto Joe, just like in the previous time round when it was down to Chaos trying to push their way in. They were in a 5 versus 4. They had very, very comfortable control of out towards the east. They knew what they had to do and then messed up all of those 1v1s. So this time around, I want to see them play much more together, being much more cautious, and most definitely not peeking that hatch with an operator. Use the damn drones, boys.
They're definitely using the drones right now, as a C4 will come out, not a C4 grenade will come out to try and take care of the Banshee. And Chaos will be going for a bit of a rotate. They're going to try and hit from multiple different sides, as IQ is looking for these yokais, for these damn yokais that were still present in this last round, where they failed to actually get the attack. And look at Kendra again. He's going to be hiding. He's going to be moving all the way over to the other side of the map right here, as Blur starts out with a kill onto the next one. That's going to be bringing it back to a 4-on-4 situation. Doki gets stacked up, but he decides that, well, stalling time is the name of the game on this bomb site that they play, as all they need to do is just buy time, make sure that the plant has to happen, and as soon as it does, you stop it from happening. You use that yokai, you get that stun out. And as long as he's safe inside the strip club, this round should be won.
How is that camera still alive? How is it still there? And how are Chaos still finding kills despite that information being fed back and forth? Sage strikes back, does get one for himself, but Crying strikes big. It's a double kill coming through. It's Chaos heading in for yet another draw. It sounds like the curse is going to prevail, and to be fair, Na'Vi had quite a few draws last season as well. It's all stocking up to be the same, and Kendrew being a little rat by himself out in strip club, trying to play around those yokai drones. He knows there's very little that can be done when he's sat inside there, so he's got to move himself back in. He's against 3 members. This is not looking like it's going to end the way that Na'Vi wanted it to. It felt like a 7-5 was on the horizon, but in this last round, it has all fallen apart.
Indeed, a third crush coming down from Joe's is good. There's no overtime. It's Vito to get that final kill. A draw yet again for Chaos. They will be getting themselves 1 point. It's better than a loss. At least they will be able to, well, stay in touch with the remainder of the board and make sure that they will not be completely hopeless going into the remainder of the season, looking at relegations that will be coming closer and closer as the direct opponents, I believe right now, are 9 points ahead of them.
It's a little bit painful because it feels like every other team that's got wins today and walks away with 3 points is being fed steak dinners, and you've walked away with a loaf of bread. It doesn't feel great knowing you're Chaos here at the bottom and you are quite literally living on any scraps that other teams will feed you. Hasn't been a pretty week for them. There is plenty more to come from them, I'm sure, but like I mentioned earlier on, they have not got a lot of time to get this right. They are in dead last place. There's only 7 more games to go before they may be auto-relegated. Chaos, a team that is synonymous with European Siege. That is not a pretty sight and not a pretty thought, neither for us nor for the boys on the team. Let's go to the analysts and see what they think about this matchup.
Guys,